Good afternoon there, everybody. Silver Dragon here, coming at you with this lovely look at the updates that have come to Masterwork Dwarf Fortress since I started my LP series on it with this one right here, version 3A. Now, of course, we already know that version 3 added a whole slew of stuff, and there has been about, I think, 5 updates at this point since I started my last LP, so I'm going to give you guys a little look back, as it were, at all the versions and all the things they've added and changed and kind of tossed around there, and give you a kind of look at version 3 in its entirety, as it were. Now you can actually see all the, I'm going to skim over some of the details here, but you can see all of it, of course, at bay12forums.com. I will link this actual page on there so you can look at it in more detail if you wish. Anyway, starting off with version 3A that we were already on. Of course, they added a new tile set for testing, but that was something I would have downloaded separately. GUI changes, nothing too interesting in there. The Nano Fortress was added in as a new add-on, allows you to embark on a 1x1 tile fortress. Updated the Falcons plugin stock, for whatever that actually is for that. Orc Fortress was updated, had some balancing and fixes with various creatures. Paper Pyresvilium, now called Library Supplies, to make it easier for the stockpile. And they actually made a proper setting in the stockpile for those materials, so you could actually store them properly without having to, look around and try and find the damn things. Real pain in the butt. Fixed make concrete and slag and ash, creating too many concrete blocks. Yeah, 3,500 freaking concrete blocks. That was ridiculous. That was ridiculous. Oddly enough, though, that didn't actually work, because it was version 3A that I got the glitch. But anyway, going down as well here, this has been an interesting little thing. Basically, you can place down the actual names for each of the tiers of buildings on the ground if you so wish. Like if you want to set this up, okay, this is my workshop, then you can just place that right down on the ground there, which is really nice. It's useful for succession fortresses and all that, or forts and all that. DF Hack had a couple changes in that regard. GUI, removed Bifrost Forge button, and all this different stuff. Added the battle cries, balancing, bug fixes. Now, new features, this is what I'm going to be focusing on mostly for the different sections. Battle cries, which I believe was on my version, so that was something we've seen a couple times. Battle cries added in using, of course, what's the link to there? Indigo Phoenix is mod. Dwarves and other enemies can now identify each other in battle simply by drinking Brondo and yelling. So your dwarves see an orc and approach him in combat, they might yell, "Die, Greenskin!" Same is true for the enemies that see your dwarves. So an automaton might say, "Target acquired, class dwarf," kind of thing. So these battle cries can be done in adventures mode. Not sure how that plays out. It can be easily expanded on. Anyone with speech files. Since the speech files have no formatting, you can't break anything, so you can just add lines of text in here yourself if you so wished. Guilds and military groups have remained relatively unchanged throughout the versions here. You can build either of the two guilds, the military or the, what was it called? Military guild and the guild hall. And it'll give them an increased skill of 200% learn rate. Levels up twice as fast as normal. Costs 500 gold coins. I believe it's actually 1,000 at this point for a basic one, although that might have changed. It might actually be 500 now at this point, but it is 2,500 for a military group. And of course, they will, they'll gain better experience in it. They'll be just all around better at their job if you get them to do that. But you really gotta hope to have gold in your embark. Legionnaires gain learn rate to military, all melee skills, as well as increased strength. Guards lane 200% rate armor and shield skill, also increased toughness, really useful for guards. Marksmen, wrestlers, all that good stuff, although I would never actually waste 2,500 gold coins on a freaking wrestler. That's not going to happen. Of course, they added in these new professions, skills, and labors here with these guys. The runesmith, the scribe, and all that, and a very important here, as it were, how they merged all the skills into certain ones, such as the thresher, miller, and presser, into miller presser skill. Some of this has changed. The runesmith has now been combined with the engraving skill, and all that is on the newest version, so I'll get to that later. But generally, all the skill, a lot of the different skills were combined into one, such as leatherworker and tanner were combined into the leatherworker skill. Soap maker and lye was in chemist. Potash maker was sent to alchemist. Strat extraction is now priest / apostle of Armok. Fish dissector is now fish farmer, along with all the other fish skills in that regard. Well, actually, all the other fish skills are about the same. But anyway, That is, yeah, grower and planter. It's all farmer, as always. Wax worker is now in wax slash poison worker. And so on and so forth. New spawning system, which was added in, where we had the changelings, sprites, and toolkits. Changelings are used to summon in monsters for the Colosseum to fight. The sprite is used to animate objects such as gargoyles, training dummies, and all that kind of stuff. And the toolkits are used for turrets and all that kind of stuff that you need to construct, which is a real pain in the ass. Because, well, turrets, the main issue with them is you need to fight automatons to get the parts, or call in gnomes and trade them. Which actually now literally you have to call them in. They will not come unless you call them. But anyway, the reason they did that is because it works 100% of the time. Easier to control. Spawns directly in the workshop, so one less step with that. New creatures count as pets, so you can move them around or destroy them by butchering them. A bunch of new decorations were added in. Rugs, chandeliers, braziers, signs, as it were. All those lovely little bits there. The tavern was added in, which is a really lovely building. I actually thoroughly enjoy this building. It's pretty good to actually build it, as you can see right here, next to your trade depot and your trade storehouse. Music is played on the stage, and all music stage was deleted. All reactions have been moved to the tavern. Bards playing music stay on stage while playing for a month. All dwarves within 25 tiles can hear the song and get a buff for 1 month. My favorite, of course, is 25% speed buff. Works really well in improving dwarves speed at times. So I would definitely suggest building a lot of those. You can play dice poker for coins if it's gambling, you win or you lose. I have yet to see a proper announcement for that. The innkeep can exchange 1,000 copper coins to 500 silver, or 1,000 silver to 500 gold coins. You can start a tavern brawl, which is a couple different fighter reactions. Need tavern items as regents, like tables, chairs, bottles, flasks, that kind of stuff. Design of the tavern has been in trade storehouse, both fit in the trade depot. It is intended to build them close to together for continuity's sake, as it were. Although eventually, who knows, it might just make it one gigantic piece, but no, I doubt it. New feature size dependent leather amount. Leather scale chitin outcome is now relative to the creature's body size. So you get 1 piece of leather from cats, dogs, 3 pieces of leather from a cow or a horse, or a whole lot of leather from a giant leathered super beast. No, who knows, actually. Who knows? Now, anyway, starting up in version B. This was the new one that we never got to, because, yeah, this is where this was the first update afterwards. It actually had some really cool things, too, which I was kind of like, oh, about. Mega Beast Deities. This is really, really cool. Mega Beasts can speak power and all spheres. This means that any entity might be convinced that a Mega Beast might be a deity. Deities can curse people, write slabs in books, govern cities, and might appear in your fortress. This means you might get a friendly Mega Beast encounter, because your Dwarven Civ is praying to a giant or a Balrog or a dragon deity. This also means you might get hostile Mega Beasts in enemy armies acting as generals. That's what really, really intrigued me. Could you imagine getting a Mega Beast leading an army of orcs? That would be so ridiculously cool. Added stock flow plugin, which actually was quite intriguing. I actually need to look at that more. Added utility plugin. What's all this stuff here? Mod scripts, blah, blah, blah. All that extra stuff there. Export maps for legends. Manual got updated with a bunch of new quick start guides and plant guides and such. Warpstone Lab can transform any pet into a changeling or a sprite. Has a very low fail chance and a chance to change the gender of the pet. Material overhaul. Lamilliar leather is iron grade. Rigid scale plate and chitin plate is iron grade. Fireproof. Oh, actually, scale plate is fireproof and iron grade is really light. Interesting. Interesting. Bone rattle is iron grade and adds non-living. Hopefully fools undead into believing you are one of them. Only kobold mode. Interesting. Minor gameplay changes. Added a list of active civs to seasonal announcement. Added ink from dye to scriptorium. Creative reactions to roast seeds in the kitchen, but I would not suggest doing that because, you need seeds. Unless you have a crap ton of seeds. Add dyes to sunberry, yellow, plum helmet, magneta, cheap, and muckroot. Specific milling reactions for those. Leaves to bladeweed, ratweed, and all those other ones there. Dwarves can no longer butcher and eat sapient beings, done for balancing reasons. 1 invasion equals lots of food. So yeah, can't butcher orcs or anything like that. Wards can detect and cure possessed dwarves and detect and unveil cults of the carp god. Secret fun option. So yeah, I so rarely use that. You need one Ochlorium bar and either a changeling or a sprite now will transform into a ward of Armok permanently. So that's to actually get a ward of Armok for that various enhancements as it were. But I would also suggest, really, really taking care to portion out your Chlorium because they are used in the new magic system. Stockpile help. Stockpiles now show many category entries for easier stockpile feeding. Most industry buildings use the same category. For example, everything for the chemist is chemist supplies. Bug fixing and balancing. I'm going to leave out most of this stuff here as it's, just bug fixing and some balancing stuff. So, yeah. Going through this would take forever. Let's see. Add some more evil tags to clearly evil creatures and good tags to clearly good creatures. All that stuff. Kobold Camp got a whole slew of changes. Added the Fisher Gremlins to, actually this I'll cover Kobold Camp in the actual Kobold Fortress, which we've already, I will be getting to now on Wednesdays because that's about what everyone voted for, I guess. So I guess I'll have to do that. Anyway, all Kobold Workshops, of course all the Kobold Workshops here, the Critter Kitchen, Juice Bar, Fish Pond, we've already covered all of these when we were actually playing it in last Wednesday. All Kobold Furnaces, so yeah, massive Kobold update was on version B. Moving down to version C. Let's see here. Of course, they added some stuff in the fixed some stuff in the manual. DF hack. Added start dwarf allows as many dwarves at embark as you like. This is what I will be using for my next embark. To get either I'm debating on the number, honestly speaking, because you usually start with 7. So I'm debating maybe 14 or 20. I don't really know how many I want to start off with, but definitely a lot more than 7. Although I'm allowed to make sure I have a lot of cash to spend on them, otherwise they're going to all go there naked and very, very poor. The embark section, you can now press E to embark, enter standard dwarf into dwarf hack without the amount of dwarves you want. You can choose 10. If you could choose 100. Your choice. Just keep in mind that they all eat and drink, so embark with 100 dwarves might be short-lived, quite. Tile sets, couple new tile sets was added in, added a new default tile set to the Masterwork MEF tile set. Replaces the matrix for now. Don't have to access the UI. Oh god, what the hell was that? Skipping way ahead here, my friend. There we go. My bad, my bad. Alright, includes animated grass, unique certain tiles, better workshop designs, and much more. You can see all the new designs in here. Looks pretty good actually. Water magma shows both waves and numbers. Gems are separated by cost. So the amount of gems actually there. The example of workshops right here. Of course, this would be the, what's it called? Coliseum and all that. Colored walls, engraved and smoothed walls. It looks pretty nice. Then the other texture packs we have here. New features add reactions from bonfire to fireplace and brazier. Disabled bonfire. Added 4 new creatures to the Warbeast kennels, unicorns, wolves, direwolves, and cougars. Hell yeah on the unicorns. Having ironclad... Could you imagine having a steel-clad unicorn? Damn, that would be nice. Or unicorn army, actually, I should say. All 4 can be iron, steeled into armored animals, thanks to the other guy for the groundwork. Magic system, this is a beta thing of it. It's not... I'm not going to even cover that because it's been massively changed. Sprites and changelings now have a litter size of 1, only 1 child each birth. Toolkit makers are 2, litter size of 2. Nerfed Firebird's attack. Now the Flame Jet is within 300 wait time instead of a Dragon Fire, which is a 30 wait time. Interesting. Which I'm assuming is a 30 action wait time. Bug fixes. Orc Fortress got some very odd updates. Yeah, I'm not going to cover all this because look at all this stuff here. Removed access to the Dwarven Trap Engineer, all that kind of stuff. So not too much other than the technical stuff was added in there, as it were. Added missing printer reactions, melt boulder into bars reactions, all that kind of stuff. Alright, now going on to version D, which I believe has a little bit more content into it. Magic system is new. Kobold's very much playable now. We got 2 new buildings. DF hack, full heal, script course is all stuff I wouldn't use because I don't want to, cheat. This is cheaty, but some people might like it, obviously. This is interesting. The DF Story Maker, a small program that reads through the gamelog.txt and can print out all entities that the file or that fit a selected theme. For example, all crafting, all combat logs, or all artifact making. It's intended for succession forts to make it easier for players to find the fitting lines, as it were. Manual, new magic system, GUI, old magic system buttons are off by default. Orc Fortress added 2 missing orc buildings to the Phobius texture packs. Kobold Camp can now make wooden shovels. Again, we're going to cover Kobold Camp later. Added missing profession graphics for them. Of course, I've already mentioned this last time when I played Kobold Fortress. All the updates that came up for them with the Bombadiller, leather upholstery, all that kind of stuff. Let's go down here a second. Extended animal usage. Added fur, fleece, feathers, tough intestines, stomach, and heart. These are really interesting in what they can do. Fur comes from furred animals. Instead of producing leather, you get fur, which can be further split into hair and leather. Added a set of fur clothing for fur and the armor and the tailor. Fleece now becomes woolly, or comes from woolly animals from shearing or butchering. Gives 3 times the cloth than simple wool or hair. Feathers can now come from birds, can be traded or made into quills for writing or down mattresses for beds. All guts and intestines can now be dried directly into rope. That's really cool for that. Stomachs can now be dried directly into water skins. All hearts can now be sacrificed in an altar of Armok for a boon to the blood god. All that good stuff. I'm going to skip over the rest of that for now. This is a really interesting one. New feature, Hire Guard. This actually really intrigues me. Dwarves can now hire caravan guards for 5,000 gold coins. Very expensive, incredibly expensive, but still can be really badass. These dwarves will stay inside the fort and become fort members. Build an embassy near your trade depot. Wait for the caravan. Whenever the caravan guard is within 10 miles of the embassy, you can successfully run the reaction. It takes diplomacy ambassador skill. If it fails, you will get a notification and no valid target. This means that no guard was in line of sight or too far away. You can only hire dwarven guards this way. Other races will not work. And of course, that would, if you're really bad on military right now, that would get you a really, really good combat dwarf. If you have the money for it, that is. Now, this is really cool. Extended decorations for the dungeon decos tour. 5 new decorations. The corner or carpet corner, bottom, top, left, right, allows you these really nice, intricate carpet designs here throughout the fortress as a tour. It's always build mat free. Doesn't cost anything for you to do. It's only for looks. Extended magic system. This has changed a lot, so I'm not going to cover this too much. I'm just going to, I'll start it off here, and I'll kind of show all the changes as I go along here. Removes the Hall of the Mountain King, Church of Dark Depths, and the Fountain of Eternal Youth, sadly, with the Fountain of Eternal Youth. Aww. Adds the Mage Guild, which is the basic one you need, and then the Altars of Elemental Magic, Altar of White, and Altar of Black Magic. Add 10 familiars, special pets each mage will summon by taking a nearby sprite, as is familiar. Adds 19 mage casts, 1 base mage, the Arcane Dwarf, 3 fire, 3 earth, water, so on earth mages, 3 white mages, 3 black mages. Adds the Good Tree, Feather, Evil Tree, Glumprong. They are needed for the white and black mage guilds, so they kind of restrict you into the specific biomes, although they're not 100% restrictive in that sense. How it works, you first need the Mages Guild with many regents, including paper, papyrus, vilium, large gems, dye, steel, oclarium, platinum. It's ridiculously expensive. You will not be setting this up in your first year as a tour. You require like 10 platinum chairs, oclarium bar, and all that. Every single reaction requires at least 1 oclarium bar. And that you have to get, it's a 1% chance from just smelting ore. So that takes quite a long time, as you can imagine. Artillery Magic, you need to build the Artillery Magic with a few regents. Way less for the first transformation. You can join, or way less than the first transformation. You can join any school of magic, whether it be fire, earth, water, air, black, or white. Dwarf will take another 3 in-game months to learn this elemental magic. Magic has Kins, as it were, level 1. So he'll be a Fire Kin. Level 2, he'll be a Fire Mancer. Level 3, he'll be a Fire Mage. And so on and so forth. Each level up, he gains more spells, gets more powerful abilities, and from level 2 up, he will be able to create a familiar. They can also use mage staves and auras you can create in altars. They are blunt melee staff, a small shield. Both add special spells to the mage. A fire aura will only be on a fire mage, though, so each specific Type you make is only attributable to their actual class. Fire Mage cannot wear a Water Mage's robe to get his abilities, kind of thing. So yeah. Black and White Mage schools are a bit differently. Of course, you have to be in the specific biomes. Dwarves get a unique mage. Black mages are heavily focused on combat, while white mages are heavily focused on support and all that good stuff. Listen carefully, the magic system is expensive, but really, really cool. Entire system is probably rather unbalanced. I will be finding that out eventually in my new LP series. Now, moving on down to version E here. Cheaty DF hat scripts fixes the 12 new workshops and 5 new decorations. Yes, you heard that right. Wait. 12 new workshops and 5 new decorations. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Update fixes several issues that have been reported to me. Rebalancing or bugs. Adds several DF hack plugins and new manual parts. Listing of all DF hack plugins and hotkeys. I'm actually got a bit of the right side here cut off, but that's alright. You don't need to read this. I'm reading it for you, as it were. New workshops are the Fletcher, Toolmaker, the Painter, Printing Press, Coin Mint. A lot of these have, some of these have changed to the new versions as well. Coin Mint is really, really nice. Kiln, Speaker's Podium, 4 merchant stalls are incredibly useful. Prison and Mork decorations, full description in the screenshots down below. We will get to all those. DF hack, couple of cheat scripts to help noobs or spins and narrative for succession forts. Brainwash alleyway adds perfect personality traits to a dwarf. Elevate physical, allows you to set physical attributes for a dwarf and all this. Basically all editing the dwarf. Allows dwarves to stay young forever, rejuvenate. Interesting. Example of Armok's Blessing. He's been content lately. He's a worshipper of Ondel and a worshipper of all these yada yada yada. Okay. At a death cause, allows you to see how a creature died. Target the corpse, run death cause in the DF hack menu. Alright, that's cool. At a remove or remove wear. Makes wear tattered clothing into brand new. Oh, that's meh. I wish they would just discard it somewhere in a fire or something so I could get rid of it and not create any extra crap, as it were. New dwarves monitor screen, fortress preference, so you can see their, what's it called? Their overall preferences. You can see how many people, you can see a couple of them like hate fire snakes, snails, and so on and so forth. Added, this is one thing I really, really liked. Added new dwarven names. 3,600 new names. No more 10 Earths, 13 Tedux in a fort. Really like that. All of them have been, are iterations of dwarven language, so they fit properly, as it were. No Daves or Toms or anything like that. GUI Orc Fortress, no changes. Manual, Cobalt Camp, of course, bug fixes. New features, Metallurgist can now undo alloys. Metal back to base metals. Gem Workshop can now mend 5 gems into a large gem. Should help with the gem catalysts, which require for magic. Glass Forge can now make rough, clear crystal glass from glass bars. Yada, yada, yada. Slaughterhouse can now grind totems into bone meal. Why the hell would I ever want to do that? Totems are freaking a pain in the ass as it is to make. Apothecary can now lobotomize dwarves. Wait, what? You need spring steel precision tool for this, which is preserved skill surgery. Lobotomizing a dwarf will reduce his speed by 20%. Set all mental stats to 1. Remove trances and likes fighting. Adds no pain, no fear, and no emotion. No emotion is especially important. It means that a dwarf will never be unhappy or happy. A perfectly willing citizen, albeit a bit of a zombie-like. He or she will have a lobotomized behind their name. Oh, great. Wow. So I can basically turn them into just killing machines by lobotomizing them, although it reduces their speed by 20%. Still, they'll just rush into battle and just annihilate everything. They lose an arm, they're like, whatever, I'll pick my own arm and I'll beat you to death with it or something. Dear God. Fletcher's Workshop is an extension of the vanilla bower. It can alter the bower, well, basically adds, you can make bows from wood and thread. You can upgrade bows, crossbows, javelin throwers with mechanisms to repeating versions and add bayonets to them all and stuff like that, basically. I believe that is an addition to it, so the vanilla bower is still there because they could not actually get rid of it. Now, this is really, really cool right here. The merchant stalls. These have changed a little bit, but generally they still remain the same in what they do. Now, you can build up to 4 of them, which buy and sell items for coins. 200 trade goods means 400 reactions total. They are the, well, meat, fish, cheese, food, drinks, you know, weapons, ammo, armor, all that kind of stuff. Pretty much everything you would ever need. Each one requires a trade license you have to get from a liaison. You have to, you know, order that in, as it were. Each merchant accepts coppers, shillings, or sovereigns. So copper, silver, gold. Trading uses the diplomacy ambassador skill. For the trade goods, the coin mint was added in, which is really, really nice. Since the guild hall, military garrison, embassy, and now the merchant stalls need a lot of coins, they added in a designated workshop to produce them. Presses copper, silver, and gold coins into 500,000 and 200 coin batches. Higher nomination allows way faster trading. 10,000 gold for a steel great axe. That's 5 times 2,000 coins. Before it would have been 20 times 500 coins. So that's a lot of reactions that I have to go through to get that done. God knows how slow dwarves are as it is. Pressing metal into coins does not take fuel. I'd love to use a mechanical power for this. Maybe DF Hack R4 will allow that. Clay oven and kiln, new workshop. The clay oven can now make almost any item from clay. Takes 1 clay boulder and 1 fuel for each item. Peerlash, plaster powder, and all glazing has been moved into this workshop. Future additions have been planned. Painter's workshop. This is a well, it allows you to recolor 10 pieces of furniture in 4 blocks. You have 8 colors to choose from, of course. You decide to make this amount high because people will have to recolor a lot of items, and it's purely for, ornamental reasons. It doesn't break anything. The prison, this is actually really, really cool in a sense when it comes to dealing, when it comes to me, I don't usually set up a prison because it takes a while, and I have to get my dwarves from doing other things to set up a proper jail. I make sure to engrave everything and make things shiny for the dwarves so they don't go crazy while they're in there. But this simplifies it quite a bit. In addition to vanilla justice system to help cope with tantruming dwarves, possessions, and cursed dwarves, werebeasts and vampires, the cult, as well as disease and sick dwarves, prison allows you to lock away any dwarf for 1 to 12 months. The dwarf will stay in the prison immobile, mute, and blind. Locking a dwarf into the cell costs you food and drink. The longer the stay, the longer the initial cost of the reaction. Dwarves that have been in prison will get a 2% malice, this is important, 2% malice on their attributes for each month. 10 months prison stay is a 20-month loss to attributes. So they lose 20% of their attributes. Dwarves, similar to quantum stockpiles and cages, prison cells can hold an unlimited number of creatures. Shackled prisoners can even be moved by passing them somewhere else, if need be. The Toolmaker workshop is a new intermediate workshop, which is used in a lot of different things. Produces build mats for machinery, uses spring steel and brass in most cases. Engraved printing plates for the printing press. Engraved coin dies for the coin mint. Gauges, valves, and pipes, and boilers for the alarm siren and steam engine. Precision tools for the machine factory, and flintlocks for gun production. The Speaker's Podium is a new workshop and will be used in interesting aspects later on down the road. Allows dwarves to hold speeches, read printed materials, and show items of public interest like wanted posters. Dwarves' running reaction will transform into a speaker, standing from the podium for 1 month. He will affect all nearby dwarves at that time. Wanted posters like public hangings and prayers might reveal hints about saboteurs, possessed dwarfs, or cults in your fort. Saboteurs are a planned feature, not currently exist. Holding speeches, reading poems, and scientific journals will permanently raise mental stats of the listeners. This means the Speaker's Podium can slowly raise mental stats for all dwarves up to the maximum over the years. Printing press prints batches of materials for that. Can print books for the library system. Can print paper money, or you can't print paper money because that's not dwarvy. I'd love to see mechanical power used for this, obviously, as before, and a bunch of new decorations added in. Up to version F now. We're getting close to the end, guys. Don't worry, we're getting close to the end here. Fixes the crashes. This release is a strange one. At least from my perspective, did not plan or release it so early. With several workshops and game mechanisms that I wanted to add that you did not finish. Includes rather empty workshops. The supernatural and siege engines mostly, which is quite interesting. Anyway, let's move on here. DF Hack added the removed DF Advanced and all this stuff here. All might have caused the game to crash or not. Added hotkeys for zones. New zone sets. An auto chop script. So you can actually enable an area to be auto chopped down. So say trees are, you just designate a large area to be to chop trees from. And, they chop all the trees and it starts to grow a bunch back and they'll go back there and they'll continue to chop down those trees when they come back, as it were. Utilities, GUI, all that kind of stuff. They updated the seasons in SoundSense so it'll now play the correct songs, as it were. Updated JPA's ISO Worlds version 2, which is really cool. I've never actually run this program. I really do need to take a look at that. Yes, I really should. Manual updated a bit. This is that. Ooh, yes, this was a really cool one. Multiplayer. That's right. Let me just kind of focus in on. Let me see if we get this. I'm not gonna follow. Just yeah, multiplayer. Very experimental, ambitious little project to allow several players to play together in Dwarf Fortress. I really do need to do a little video on this at some point. But yeah, it's still pretty basic, but still it intrigues the hell out of me. Cobalt Camp, fixes, bug fixes, new features. Here we go. Category tiles can now have more atmospheric names. Hope you guys like Pig Latin. Oh god. Added new building categories, supernatural and siege engines and illumination. New buildings, the Inventor's Workshop, Great Forge. Pardon me. The wood cutting block, weight bench, herbalist lab, trebuchet, arbalist, vampire's abode, werebeast lair. A lot of these have been removed and changed now. Mega beast cell, necromancer's crypt. The only one that actually remains is the mega beast cell. It's been upgraded to the mega beast kennels, but we'll get to that later. Added dirt, which can be collected like clay. Currently only used as a cheap building material. Made peat collectible. Added fire clay and Cowlanite back into the game. Clay oven can now produce earthenware, stoneware, and porcelain. Lowered value. Drow and elves can now plants can now be farmed in evil good biomes. Might even be found in nature. Dwarves that flee get a very short speed boost. I really like that. The adrenaline gives them strength. Archaeologists can find items made from corrupt bloodsteel. Warlocks now arrive with corrupted bloodsteel. Dwarves wearing corrupted items might go insane after a while. This insanity lasts a short time, but can be dangerous. The temple can cleanse this corrupted material. This is a test run for more magical material to be added in, warpstone, all that. New feature, this is actually an interesting thing, the bone stack fix. For those who remember, bones, any items you made out of bones before, were using an entire stack, basically, in order to make a single item. Now you can, in the Craft Store's workshop, you can actually take a bone stack of the regular bones and then make them into separate bone stacks that can then be used in the reactions. It was actually moved into the under helmet stockpile. A bit random, but it's the best he could do. Bone stacks might cause bad thoughts when used up, though, because just like you're destroying a helmet in a way. So if it's a Masterwork bone stack, then you might be really pissing somebody off by destroying it or using it. New building designs. Monastery. Trains monks, preachers, archbishops. Prophets of Armok. Makes holy build mats. The Colosseum. Summons creatures. The guild hall, of course. Join guilds. Military guild garrison. The prison was changed up a bit in its design. It's now 11 by 11. All that good stuff. They might actually merge the garrison with the siren as well. I've never actually used the alarm siren. I built it, but I never actually used it. I really should have. Buildings will fall into the administration in-game. All workshops that require no blueprints, no research, are cheap, and train your dwarves to interact with them in some way. A plan a religious caste system eventually. Anyway, moving on to that. Study the apothecary study, alchemist laboratory, chemist laboratory, toxicologist, all that kind of stuff. All these have been kind of changed up a bit. They redesigned them all, which is a bit nice. Planned additions for future. One study and one laboratory. What is that? I cannot pronounce that. I'm just going to say a Thum study. Makes magic items, summons magic creatures, non-magic system related. Biologist laboratory. Learn from killed enemies. Enables race-specific plagues. Basically, it allows you to do more damage against orcs if you kill a lot of orcs and just, figure out like, oh, I have to shove my sword up here in order to get a killing blow easily, kind of thing. New workshop, the herbalist laboratory cultivates seeds into random plants. You can choose between surface, caver, good or evil, and poisonous plants. Can make items directly from trees. Some of these are taken from the removed timber yard, but the herbalist can't do much more. Can make items directly from specific plants. Example, rope from rope reed, cages from whipvine. Can make items from good evil plants, totems, bone meal, acids, potions, and positive alcohol. Alcohol. Acids do not have a use as of yet. It is planned for the chemists, chemistry, and gas dispenser buildings. The wood cutting block is a new low-tech building. It allows you to replace... it's a low-tech replacement for the timber yard sawmill. You can cut rough logs into logs, gnarled roots, planks, all there. The monastery was added in. You can make ceremonial totems, statues needed for temples, altars, and shrines. Trains praying, allows dwarves to join the Apostles of Armok, moved from the guild hall. Be used for future for the religion system. The weight bench, for when you just had to train your dwarves there. They now have an athlete skill, which can only be trained in this workshop. Training raises strength, agility, toughness, spiritual sense, kinetic sense, and willpower. Even if dwarves reach legendary athlete, his attributes can still be increased. Now these ones are interesting, and a lot of these have been moved to the magic system now. The Necromancer's Crypt raise either a nearby corpse on the map or all corpses. Needs a Clarium. Moved to the Necromancer. The Black Mages Guild. Vampire, I believe, is also moved to the... no, it's actually... The Cure, at least, is moved to the White Mages Guild, but I'll get to that in a minute. Allows you to cure a dwarf from vampirism or make him into a vampire. Werebeast Slayer allows you to infect a dwarf for the werebeast sickness. It doesn't say cure him, though. Mega Beast Cell trains instant legendary skills for Mega Beast Souls. Was previously in the Researcher. Now it's got its own workshop. That has been changed. New workshop. This is actually a new siege engine. A trebuchet. Fires slow and powerful burning and exploding ammunition. You can choose to man it 1, 2, or 3 months. The dwarf will transform into a stationary siege operator. The ammo for the reaction is used up even if there is no fight. So if you send them to do that, they will use up three shells or whatever, and they'll be gone. New workshop, the Arbalist, which actually looks really, really cool. Let me scroll back up here because the damn thing was messing with me. Fires fast volleys of multiple bolts. You can choose to man it 1, 2, 3 months. Ammo for the reaction used up even if there's no fight. New workshop, the Great Forge. Not to be confused with the Great Magma Forge, which has been renamed the Volcanic Foundry. Creates two-handed weapons, kite shields, armor sets. All weaponry armor material are now available. You can forge weapons blade edged, weapon heads blunt for 5 bars and 3 coke. Making a two-handed weapon requires 1 scabbard from the Craft Dwarf Forge, 1 weapon hilt from the Craft Dwarf Forge, 1 unit of leather, and either a weapon blade or a weapon head from the Great Forge. Making kite shields requires 3 metal bars and 1 unit of wood for the frame, 1 unit of leather for the straps. Armor sets produce a helm, breastplate, greaves, 2 gauntlets, 2 boots. They need 12 bars and 4 coke total. Example, a steel great axe is a steel... what is it here? A steel weapons blade, a hilt, leather, scabbard, and coke. And so on and so forth. Reactions do not require additional coke to ease the using of the manager. I renamed them slightly. They Magma Forges sets. Okay, that should be good. New workshop, the Inventor's Workbench. So this is actually quite interesting. This workshop is very randomized and can give overpowered or useless items. It is designed that way. So do not ask why an Orcish Sapper's Satchel does not work, or why you can't make ammo for the Kobold Totem Sling. Dwarven inventors do not care for such things. Many special items are designed to work with a specific type of material only, and will not show their full functionality that is intended. Inventor's Workshop can now create random weapons, armor, shields, helm, pants, just like a mood. Creating random items costs 1 coke, 3 metal bars, and 1 spring steel precision tool, which has a 50% chance to be preserved. These random items can be foreign or dwarven, powerful or broken. The Inventor Workshop can also copy any foreign item. This costs 1 coke and 3 metal bars. It has 85% chance of success, 15% chance to destroy the original item. This copy will take on the material of the metal that is used in the reaction. Letting an inventor meddle around with the artifact will cause bad thought. With an artifact will cause bad thoughts for the maker. So you don't want him to copy any artifacts, as it were. Workshop overhaul. The researcher study now has 180 new reactions. The old ones are either deleted or moved. Almost 2/3 of all buildings require science before they can be built. Excuse me. Dwarves now invent these technologies first, so a lot of them you have to actually invent them before you can actually use them. I really like that. To start a research, you simply need to gather the materials for the first reaction, conduct research in the field of. Each research starts a chain of reactions automatically. There is an 80% chance of success. This means the longer the chain, the higher the chance of research will result in inclusive results. Inclusive results are checked automatically at last time and have a 1% chance for random success. I gotta love that random 1% chance. You have 40 different scientific fields to study. Each one will unlock a new building. You'll get an announcement if you succeed. I know this sounds complicated here, but in-game is quite simple. Researching the magma liquid spawner will also unlock all magma workshops, even without digging into a magma lake. Workshop overhaul. The architect study. Architect study now writes simple, singular blueprints, which are used for all furnace buildings. Blueprint requires 1 paper, 1 ink. It will start a chain of 10 reactions, all of which are automatic. An unlearned architect will result in about 10 in-game 10 in-game days to finish those, simulating a longer work time for blueprints. You can also copy any scientific discovery you've made. Tile set related, fixed wheelbarrows and Minecraft tiles to work with the Masterwork matrix tile sets. Fix some pixels. Added 2 types of flowers to grass, lovely. Added the abacus, replaces ring craft, okay. Colored grasses, evil biomes, and all that. Idea for next release, feedback was wanted, or processor. They wanted to add a intermediate processing to pretty much crush basic ore to then smelt it. So it was an intermediate process. Pros allows you to total control for ore related mod content. Fix slag bar problem with moods, allows introduction of base metals elements, allows lottery system with random finds and ores, more realistic metalworking, but it also alters vanilla Dwarf Fortress balancing, being a must-build building. You have to have it in order to do any metalworking, and it adds an additional work step in metal refining. So it was debatable for that. And now we have to go all the way up to the one thing there for version E, which is all the way at the top now. So let's scroll all the way back up top here. All the way back. Come on, my friend. So this is the new version that, depending on whether or not there is another update in between now and next Sunday, I will be starting with this version of the game. Dear Lord, I hope not. All right, version G now is the new version. Fixed a bunch of crash issues they were having. DF hack. No, they took care of all that stuff. That was the crash fix for that. Added splatter buffer overflow. Orc Fortress and Cobalt Camp can now separate bone stacks. Cobalts, yeah, that would be good. Removed Cooked Critter for Cobalts. Since live vermin regions are bugged, nothing vanilla, nothing you can do to fix it. Fixed plaster and pure lash reactions. Cobalt Camp redeemed chips for mystery price reaction. Interesting. Bug fixing and balancing. Remove the generic mill plants reaction. It's broken. Too bad. Fishing poles and nets are now stockpiled under the tools section, like that. Added thrones, chairs, armor stands, cabinets, weapon racks, chests to the stone cutter. Nice. Fixed kite shields from steel were adamantine. That's funny. That's awesome. And of course, little like, oh my god face. Yeah. Anyway. Wolfram runes on armor add no stun. Cause dwarves never to wake up. I added no sleep to them as well. Interesting. So dwarves with that on their armor would never awaken, as it were. Quills now have 75% chance of being preserved. Glue for binding books now has 75% chance of getting preserved. Notebooks can now be used up to 20 times before they are full. Interesting. Secret fun dwarves now don't join guilds, mages anymore. Instead refuse to join a guild and act very suspiciously. Ooh, interesting. Disease-carrying patient 0 dwarves don't join guilds anymore. Instead are too sick to learn new things. Interesting. Diamonds from screw press and artificial gems from the alchemists are now rough and not cut gems. That's useful. Anyway, skipping all these other ones here for now. Let's go into the important ones. Slight changes in skills and labors. Runesmith is now gone. Runes are now done by the engraver. Stone Detailer has been renamed the Stone Detailing and Stone and Rune Engraving. Merchant Stalls now use the Negotiator skill, a social skill of dwarves, so use workshop profiles to control the use of merchant stalls. Tanner is back again and doing everything in the Tanner's shop. The reason for this is mildly confusing fix for a crash, resulting balance changes and bug fixing for the Tanner, built be ambassador bug. Okay, that's weird. Small animal dissection is now called creature dissection, used for small animal dissection and future biologist lab study and lab autopsies. Dyer is now called the Dyer and Painter, to be made clear so that the painter's workshop is done by it as well. Nice. Custom announcements. Many parts of the mod can now give announcements to the player. Forging a two-handed weapon, plate armor, or a set of items, unpacking crates, expeditions, mages, guilds. Announcements are in the line of a dwarf has joined a guild, a golem has been created, you have finished construction of a plate armor set, so on and so forth. New feature, Embassy and the Mighty Dwarven Legion. This is actually really, really cool in a sense. New Civ will be seen in World Gen, the Dwarven Legion. Legion has no active seasons and will never send diplomats, caravans, or sieges. You can call a Legion supply wagon for 10,000 gold coins at the embassy. It will spawn in a small caravan with bodyguards. These bodyguards are super buffed up legionnaires or mages with good gear and natural fighting skills up to legendary. You use your Legion hit squad to fight ambushes and sieges. You can also trade with the quartermaster if you like. Feedback required for battle balancing. Embassy is now required to trade with gnomes. They no longer come out automatically. You have to invite them. Embassy can also invite goblin and orc merchants. These slightly more civilized specimens are friendly and will trade with you. Lovely. Lovely indeed. Workshop overhaul, Erst Steel Emporium. This is actually interesting. It's a new system for trading. Trade tokens that keep the material. Allows not only steel, but the buying and selling of all materials. It can get very confusing as soon as you have tokens for multiple materials. If it turns out to be too hard to micromanage, I'll reduce the workshop back to steel only as it was before. Such as you want to, say you want a steel longsword in a sense, but you have a stockpile of muskets. You can trade that steel musket to the Emporium, and he'll give you 6 steel vouchers. And then you buy a battle axe or a battle pick, which requires 4 vouchers. So you get the steel battle pick, and you sell steel vouchers for 1,000 sovereigns. Profit. Oh, I see. You can either sell all of these trade vouchers for 1,000 sovereigns and then profit, or you can trade 4 of them in for a steel battle pick, and so on and so forth. Pros, instead of only steel, you can make trade any metal. Allows more complex trading. Might cause confusion. Requires stockpile feeding to separate tokens of different materials. Workshop overhaul, the Quern and Millstones. Quern and Millstones no longer have the same reactions. The reason for this is almost everybody builds querns and disregards a millstone, which requires power. There was no advantage to building a millstone, and this is now changed. Querns can only mill soft materials, mostly plants into dye, flour, and sugar, that kind of stuff. Millstones will mill hard materials such as rocks, gems into sand, or glaze powder. Rocks and items into dust, destroy item. Grind rock into sand, grind rock into base materials. Put a stone cutter to the mills. Pardon me, sorry. Millstone. Moved all bone meal reactions from the slaughterhouse to the millstone, which makes sense. Workshop overhaul, the Inventor's Workshop. This is something that changed quite a bit. Invented items keep materials from the metal used instead of being blank. The spring steel precision tool is now preserved 90% of this time instead of 50% of the time. Making a copy preserves the original. This way artifacts don't get destroyed, and the original does not change materials like before. All weapons can now be copied using either metal or gems. All armor can now be copied using either metal or leather. Workshop overhaul, the Toxologist. 3 new poisons, the Liquid Sun, Glomprog resin, and Feather resin. Make berry poisons and just all-around poisons. All 3 can cause massive pain as well as selection reactions, random negative effects, 7% chance on each hit. As always, you can coat ammo, traps, and weapons with it. This is one of the major ones for the magic system. Overhaul magic and the supernatural. Supernatural buildings were removed. Only the Mega Beast cell remains, renamed to the Mega Beast Kennels. The reason for this was that most of the reactions fit into the magic system and you didn't want to add 5 buildings for nothing. Black Altar can now make werebeasts, vampires, and undead. White Altar can now cure vampirism. Fire Altar can now start fires everywhere on the map. Air Altar can now control the weather. Earth Altar can now regrow grass and trees. Researching these 6 magical altars has been moved to the Wizard School. Just fits better for the researcher. Reactions are the same. The interesting thing is with that, you could actually, I think it actually mentions this as well. Ideas for the next release, please vote on the poll above. There is no poll, sadly. Biologists study killed enemies for permanent buffs against that species. Thumra, whatever, magical items or item sets. Religion overhaul, introduction of priests, high priests, blessing of items. Warlock overhaul, balance the race, remove rot and fire, add new abilities, or processing, adds a refining step. To metal production, Arbalist and Trebuchet overhaul, different ammos, special effects, AoE ammo. Trap Engineer overhaul, booby traps, AoE damage, dart throwers, unique trap components. I would like that as well. Landmine overhaul removes landmines, make changes to, bursling or whatever in the weapons lab. Moving, breeding, no toolkits required. This is actually really interesting as well. Magic overhaul, summon creatures, and just more of it. Mega Beast. This was my. This was the one I liked the most though. Add reward, soul and trophy to all of them. Adds revive beast with soul, so you can either get a legendary skill or a friendly Mega Beast. A friendly Mega Beast. Hell yes. Could you imagine taking on like 5 or 6 Mega Beasts in your cave all the time and just bringing all their souls and summoning like 5 or 6 Mega Beast guards now? That would be unimaginably badass. Unimaginably badass. Glazing overhaul makes metal, gem, ash glazes, allows the glazing of each individual item, decorational only. So yeah, that is everything, guys. So as you can see, there has been a crap ton of changes since I first started my Let's Play series back. I don't even know when, honestly. Like weeks and 16 weeks ago, it was 16 episodes, or 17 episodes. So 17 weeks ago, there has been 5 or 6, like 5 updates, and they've added a crap ton of stuff. The magic system itself is the most major of the updates, and hopefully during the next LP series we'll be getting into that. It seems like everyone wants me to go into the evil biomes, so I will be probably doing that, and who knows, I might even get a Black Mages Guild and see what kind of things we can happen with there. Now, as I said, though, making those reactions are quite expensive, so actually getting to the point of being able to use that is going to take a very long time. A lot of mining, a lot of everything. Especially a lot of smelting, because you need to. It's only a 1% chance to get a Clarium, and you need every single mage you make requires 1 bar of a Clarium, so you really got to protect those guys. But thank you very much for watching, guys. Hopefully you all enjoyed this look at the various updates that have come to Masterwork Dwarf Fortress in version 3 here. Eventually I may actually remove this and just do a retrospective on the entirety of version 3 if we ever go up to a version 4. But for now, this is simply a catch-up video to kind of get you guys updated on all the changes between this LP and my next LP, or next season, next week here, so as not to confuse people with all the shiny new stuff that is in the game, although people may just miss this video. But anyway, for now, guys, thank you very much for watching. Have yourselves a good one, and I will see you on Wednesday for Cobalt Fortress, and Sunday for Season 6 of Masterwork Dwarf Fortress. And get ready for madness, as I will have at least about 14 dwarves, maybe 20, to start off with. Peace.